tens of thousands of people. I think that's all but certain come the fall, and we may well see airlines go under. And then think about the ripple effect. If you've got all those people who lose their jobs and then connect all the other dots that feed into these jobs, it's going to be horrific. Now, United Airlines now says, this is just a flavor of what's to come, it will now cut all management jobs, 30% of management jobs, I should say, will be gone by October 1st. 30% will be gone by October 1st. Let me just tell you, I've lost IFE, so I can't listen to the soundbite. So let me just move on and tell you, here's the problem across the entire spectrum. They simply have seen demand and passenger volume drop by 97% across the entire spectrum. Airports, airlines, airplanes are flying with just a handful of people on board. They simply can't make any money doing that. Now, as you probably know, Congress has given them $50 billion to keep them afloat. But there's a fix here. That is that they absolutely have to keep people on board, keep their staffs until September 30th. Beyond September 30th, they won't be able to do that. The money is going to run out. And so already the airlines are saying, be prepared for layoffs. And we're talking about everybody from pilots to ground handling staff, to the people at the ticket counters, to the flight attendants, to the people in dispatch. I mean, this will be across the entire airline spectrum. Unless, miraculously, suddenly passenger volume returns. But there are no forecasts expecting that. No forecasts expecting we're going to see passengers returning to the skies in the fall. And in fact, it may be some time. Not only are Americans waiting for a vaccine before they travel again, we've now got 30 to 40 million people unemployed. They're going to absolutely burn through their savings. So when and if they feel it's safe to fly again, they may not have the cash reserves to go anywhere or to spend any money on a vacation. So this is absolutely horrific. And the ripple effect then extends into hotels. And as you know, theme parks are closed. Cruise ships are closing down. Some are going to restart in August, but how many people do you know want to go cruising in August? This is absolutely a horrific scenario in the airline industry. I will leave you by letting you listen to Josh Earnest, the Chief Communications Officer for United Airlines. I won't be able to pick it up on the backside because I can't hear you anymore, but you should hear what Josh Earnest says from United Airlines.
Typical in the month of May for 2020, we'll actually fly fewer customers in the entire month than we did on a single day in May last year. So we're undergoing some profound changes, and it does mean that we are likely to come out of this a smaller airline. The industry itself is going to be smaller.
That was Josh Earnest from United Airlines, and that was Tom Costello managing to pull off an entire report and still toss to a soundbite without any sound himself. Tom Costello, always great to have you with us. A coronavirus model often cited by the White House has doubled its projections, saying the U.S. will now lose 134,000 lives by August. President Trump claims that model doesn't account, though, for mitigation efforts.
That's a report with no mitigation. So based on no mitigation, but we're doing a lot of mitigation. And frankly, when the people report back, they're going to be social distancing and they're going to be washing their hands and they're going to be doing the things that you're supposed to do.
NBC News political reporter Jane Tim joining me now for a fact check. And Jane, is the president right about these models? What are they based on?
He's not, because these models are actually based on deeper and more comprehensive mitigation and social distancing than we're actually seeing happen. So the researchers who did this study say the reason they've upped their numbers is that they're seeing people move around more based on anonymized cell phone data that indicates people are actually not staying home the way they thought, and because states are loosening up their restrictions and opening up certain businesses, which will then lead to more transmission of the disease, just based on logic, as Dr. Azar said. And this is what's happening here is that they assumed more effort, not none. They thought we'd be staying home till the end of May. And they also said we really thought people would try and act more on these and be more afraid. They thought people would stay home more than they are. And that's just, it's not seeing it. And states are loosening these things up before the end of May, which is what their early predictions were based on. And it's important to say, this is an optimistic study. This is an optimistic model that says that we can really stamp this out with a couple months of effort and that it won't be as bad as some of the other models. This is why the White House has touted this one, because looks better than the others, frankly.
Jane, is this relaxation of mitigation or the loosening of people staying at home, is that the same process that President Trump has been pushing for?
Absolutely. President Trump wants to open up the economy. You heard him today saying it's time to open up the economy. You know, people really want to go back to work and they're going to fight to open their economy and get the things going back. And of course, he wants a really happy, healthy economy that's crucial to his re-election bid. But at the end of the day, the studies don't look good the more you open up states and open up economies and make it more likely that people are going to be interacting with each other and transmitting this disease.
Jane, I'd love to fact check a different politician while I have you here. The Senate back in D.C. today. They went back yesterday. The only senator known to have had COVID-19, Rand Paul, he showed up without a mask, claiming that he doesn't need one because he's immune. Based on what health experts know so far, is that the case?
We don't know what kind of immunity recovery grants. We think, and Dr. Fauci has said, we hope that there's some pretty good immunity. It makes it easier for us to recover from this pandemic, but we just don't know. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be 4 years. Viruses have all kinds of different immunity. The common cold might last a year until you are susceptible again, whereas the chickenpox, you can only get it once. So we really don't know, and the studies need to be done for us to know that. And it's important to note that what public health officials tell me is that you can talk about this stuff till you're blue in the face, but when you see someone with a mask, it telegraphs a different image. An image is worth 1,000 words, if you will. That actually doing it, what you're trying to get people to do, to show people and lead by example, is much more powerful than putting out a bunch of ads. And the doctors I talked to today said, you know what? The science on immunity, we're not sure about it. But the science on masks, it's irrefutable. It works. It helps lower transmission rate.
Jane Tim, always great to have you here, our friendly resident fact checker. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Allison.